News now from Thornton Township. This afternoon, trustees fired 2 workers after this fight at the last meeting last week. One of those workers, Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard's boyfriend, Kamal Woods. He ran the Township Youth Program. Also fired another employee, William Moore. Both had been suspended before the Township brawl for work performance.
It's official. Thornton Township has fired 2 employees associated with Tiffany Teflon Tahoe. At the most recent Thornton Township meeting, as you may remember, these 2 men were placed on administrative leave. Kamal Woods, who has been linked to Tiffany Tahoe, was reportedly one of them. This week's meeting indeed was the first since Lori Lightfoot raised concerns about possible financial malfeasance and reckless spending. There was no Tiffany Tahoe. Similarly, Tiffany Tahoe did not attend this week's meeting of Thornton Township. Her absence as mayor of Dalton and supervisor of Thornton Township raises concerns about transparency and accountability, in addition to financial troubles. She has been involved in public confrontations. As tensions escalated, she allegedly got caught up in an altercation that started during the most recent township meeting. Please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and press the notification bell for updates before we get into all the details. Let's get started right away. There is no time to squander.
Extra security tonight for the Dalton Village Board meeting after last week's Thornton Township meeting ended in a brawl. Anyone headed into tonight's meeting had to be cleared by security. They didn't want a replay of the fist fight involving supporters and critics of Tiffany Henyard at the Thornton Township meeting. She, of course, is the supervisor and mayor of Dalton. Our Jermont Terry is live in Dalton for us tonight. Question is, did Tiffany Henyard show up?
Joe, the mayor was a no-show. However, village business did go on as usual. But many people say the mayor will eventually have to address the findings of Mayor Lori Lightfoot's investigation eventually. Anyone attending Monday night's Dalton Village Trustee meeting found themselves going through extra security.
We also had individuals wandered down at the door.
People were apprehensive after the Thornton Township meeting turned into a nasty brawl last week.
I have been a resident of Dalton for 40 years. I have never seen such deplorable actions in our community.
Those in this room were here to witness government business take place and not watch a spectacle.
The light has been shining on the roaches, and the roaches have scattered. They have scattered. I don't see many of them here today.
Should the mayor arrive, she will take her appropriate space as the chair for this meeting.
Absent from the regular scheduled meeting, Mayor Tiffany Henyard. She hasn't shown her face publicly since she jumped in the middle of that township brawl. And more importantly, since Lori Lightfoot's independent investigation revealed Henyard and her administration deliberately tried to mislead the public into not finding out about the alleged gross financial mismanagement in both Dalton and Thornton Township.
So I didn't expect her to show up today, but not responding to the Lori Lightfoot report, I didn't expect her to respond to that anyway.
However, current trustees say Henyard has an obligation to speak about the findings of the probe, which clearly paints a stamp on issues they've been raising for years, questioning the tax dollars spent.
The residents are entitled to answers, so I do hope that she gives some answers to that report. The residents want to hear and they want to know.
So you owe them a response to the findings of Lori Lightfoot, whether they're true or not, or whether you believe they're true or not. You owe them a response.
Now, when it came down to business, it was also revealed that the village defaulted on one of its life insurance policies for employees due to non-payment. They claim that this was a clerical error and something that they're looking to fix immediately. As for voters, they head to the polls in just 3 weeks. Reporting live in Dalton tonight, Jermont Terry, CBS News, Chicago.
Thank you, Jermont.
While it's admirable that the D board meeting had more protection, Tiffany and her co-workers weren't there. As the village mayor, she was supposed to lead the meeting, but she didn't show up. What is the cause of that? Because she appears to be avoiding accountability and challenging questions about the investigation that revealed alleged reckless spending and bad management of village funds, which led to a deficit of several $1 million. This covers a variety of questionable expenses, such as trips, fine dining, personal services like a hairstylist and makeup artist, 2 Tahoe vehicles, and even a BMW that was allegedly associated with her acquaintance. Apparently, community contributions were used to pay for all of these. Before she had access to the village's credit cards and accounts, its finances were in far better shape. But trustees are now working extra hard to make things better beyond her role as mayor. Tiffany is more than that. She is also the supervisor of Thornton Township. They also had a meeting this week, but she did not show up.
From an all-out brawl to a subdued meeting, mostly on Zoom, there were some major changes in Thornton Township tonight, aimed at keeping the peace and keeping everyone safe. Tonight, one of the men involved in that fight was fired from his township job.
Our Jermont Terry has been on top of this story for months and explains why Tiffany Henyard's boyfriend and another ally lost their jobs.
Thornton Township trustees called a special meeting Thursday. Two things noticeable: Supervisor Tiffany Henyard absent, and a virtual overflow room for the public to avoid direct contact with the board.
With obviously what happened last week, it's just something we felt that was kind of the best, at least temporary solution.
Last week, that violent township brawl took place. Henyard's opponents and allies, including her boyfriend, Kamal Woods, seen here in the black, threw punches and tossed tables. Woods isn't just Henyard's boyfriend, but was hired by her to run the youth program.
I would like to make a motion to terminate, effective immediately, Kamal Woods.
A position he no longer holds, and his involvement in that fight, trustees say, made it easier to let him go.
As a township employee, I think that we are expected to be held to a different standard, and that comes with the different levels of respect.
You may recall Woods and William Moore, another Henyard hired employee and ally, were both placed on paid leave last week, just before the brawl.
I would like to make a motion to put Kamal Woods and William Moore on administrative leave.
Now they are both fired.
So just because this action was taken doesn't mean that the investigation stops.
The investigation is to determine what exactly, if anything, the two men did. Many in the community and on the board have questioned if they were just collecting paychecks. Supervisor Henyard has always said that this appears to be a personal attack terminating Kamal Woods, but the trustees say that's far from the case.
It's not personal.
That's why there are rules and generally and even laws against whatever you want to call it, like it's a nepotism or whatever. That's why they're there, because of reasons like this, because then somebody does deem it as personal where you shouldn't even be in that situation.
The board meets for its regular meeting next week. In Thornton Township, Jermont Terry, CBS News, Chicago.
Unbelievably, Tiffany reportedly gave her married lover access to money that he shouldn't have had and paid him for a job that was essentially a no-show. This bad administration has reportedly resulted in financial losses for the municipality and the hamlet. This is why I think all parties involved in Tiffany Teflon Tahoe should be investigated by federal authorities. And it will, I assure you. As I mentioned before, I think the mayor will face federal charges sometime in the spring or summer of 2025. The question at hand is not if, but when WY refusing to address the people of Dalton or offer an explanation for the loss of millions of dollars. Tiffany Tahoe is still dodging accountability. According to reports, since she took office, village credit card expenditure has risen from roughly $100,000 to over $700,000. In addition, she raised the credit card limit in Thornton Township from $30,000 to $200,000. And that only applies to Dalton. Please leave your opinions in the space provided for comments below so that we can begin a conversation. Rob P. deserves special recognition for his steadfast support of the channel. We would especially like to thank our sister Shah, Brother Dark Power, and Ashley C. by clicking the PayPal link below. You can also help them out, ladies and gentlemen. If you want a fair analysis in the reality as perceived by women, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to share and like.